Welcome to Big Monday, presented by eBay. And on this Martin Luther King holiday, it's a Sun Belt Conference matchup from Mitchell Center in Mobile, Alabama. The UT Arlington Mavericks taking on the South Alabama Jaguars. And look at the Sun Belt standings. Both these teams part of the logjam. 6 teams right now, all 2-2. Everybody chasing unbeaten Georgia Southern at 4-0. And along with former Kentucky national champion Kyle Macy, I'm Mark Neely. You had an Arlington team that had won 11 in a row, but they've dropped 2 straight now, Kyle, and I'd like to end that skid with some help from Eric Neal.
Well, he's an outstanding point guard, 5'10" junior out of Dallas, Texas. He's kind of the head of the dragon, if you will. As he plays, he really sets the table for his teammates, but he can score, coming off a 22-point performance last time out against Troy.
South Alabama's played back-to-back OT games. They won in overtime on Saturday thanks to a career-high 26 from Shaq Calhoun.
Big second half in that game when he had 26, 23 of those points coming after halftime. His numbers have been down shooting percentage-wise, so they're hoping that's going to kind of break him out and get him going the rest of the season.
UTA Mavericks do not have Kevin Hervey in the starting lineup. We expect him to play today. He is preseason conference player of the year and a guy a lot of the NBA scouts come to watch in the Sun Belt. Again, will not start for the second straight game, but we do expect to see him play.
Well, hopefully we get to see him on the court, averaging 15 and almost 8 rebounds a game. A great all-around player, inside and out.
Braden Tilley, Hal Lusk, Brett Smith, our officials. We're underway, and it's UTA in the road blue that has the first possession. Here is Neal, and he's quickly fouled out front on the block by Don Kelly.
And you can see that UT Arlington really coming out with a lot of energy, trying to move that ball quickly, get themselves going. They felt like they were a little sluggish these last 2 games, maybe kind of got full of themselves and want to come out today and play a little bit harder.
Yeah, head coach Scott Cross not happy with the team's effort the last couple of games in conference with the 2 losses. Jones, a jumper, got it. That is Jalen Jones, a senior out of Cedar Hill, Texas.
With Hervey out of the lineup, somebody has to be able to step up. It may not just be one player, maybe 2 or 3, but Jones a good start there with a jump shot.
Here's Ajayi. Josh Ajayi rolls off the front rim. Loose ball picked up by Eric Neal. Neal gets the screen from Jorge Bilbao. And the pass is intercepted by Ajayi. Not a good pass from Kalen Wilson, who's getting the start for the second straight game in lieu of Hervey. Open look, a 3, Ajayi.
Ajayi at 6'7", a good touch from out beyond the 3-point line. More of a physical down-low player, you would think, so he's sometimes a little late coming out. It shows he can knock it down.
His 8th made 3 of the season, and another turnover from UTA. Quick pass up ahead for Nick Stover. Now Ajayi stripped from behind by Eric Neal.
We've seen it early. Both teams have a problem with the turnover bug. Just a little careless with the basketball. Another walk, one more turnover.
Yes, as you were saying, Kyle. Scott Cross in his 11th season as the head coach at UTA. He played for the Mavericks. He's an assistant under head coach Eddie McCarter. And now already in season number 11 as the head man. Kelly and then Neal going after it. It's going to stay, though, with the Jaguars.
Well, both of these teams like to play at an up-tempo. They really want to play quickly, but the one thing, you have to have discipline as far as taking care of the basketball, even when you play fast. In fact, sometimes it puts even more of an emphasis on the discipline of not making careless passes.
See Matthew Graves in his 4th season as the head coach. This is from Nick Stover from the corner, and a 3. 2 threes for South Alabama to start their scoring today.
Stover hadn't started until about the last 4 or 5 games, but shoots about 40% from threes. Nice cut.
Yeah, Drew Charles finishing on the cut to the bucket. Charles, a guy known more for his 3-point shooting.
It was a set play that time out of the transition. Just the back pick got Charles wide open.
Stover picked up the dribble. Calhoun, a pass over the top, too far and off the hands of Mwepo Kelly, and that is a Jags turnover.
And again, not really a forced turnover. You know, you just got to take care of it, make sure you can get the pass there if you throw it. But here you see that last play, just a back pick, it gets Charles going right down the lane for the easy layup.
Here is Charles now for Neal. In and out. Offensive rebound. Bilbao trying to go back up a second time. There'll be no third opportunity for Bilbao. Lee gives it up. Calhoun. Wide open look. This three on the way, but a little short. And off the mark from Jalen Jones. Here's Stover. Looks like he's going to take it into the lane. Gets bumped. And the push going against Bilbao.
We'll get a chance now to take our first look at Kevin Hervey as he checks into the lineup.
Hervey tore his left ACL pregame last year in January against Arkansas State. Missed the final 19 games of the year. And before the inbounds, another foul against the Mavs.
And to start the season, Hervey, they kind of put him on a little bit of a timetable, if you would. He played maybe 5-10 minutes first game, 10-15, kind of extended him out. And they thought they were kind of through that, even though they didn't feel like he was back complete 100%. But just had some swelling in the knee and did get play that last game.
And there's a rebound for Kevin Hervey. By the way, Eric Neal picked up the foul prior to the inbounds. Quick pass down low. Bilbao foul. Could not finish it, though, but he'll shoot two.
Good recognition out top by Hawkins, throwing it down to Bilbao on the low post. He had the small man Lee on him. Drew that foul.
Jorge Bilbao is a senior, and strangely enough, he's from the city of Bilbao, Spain. Totally coincidental that his last name matches his hometown. Blue-collar guy, one of the toughest guys on this team, according to head coach Scott Cross. And he spins in the free throw. 78% foul shooter on the year.
It was kind of interesting talking with Scott Cross about how he felt like that they really needed to get him touches during the course of the game, because when he's handling the ball, a lot of good things happen. So when they go in stretches where they don't score or not playing very good, it's because they're kind of isolating him down the low post. So they want to continue to keep looking for him in the low post.
He splits the pair. It's a 1-point lead for the Jags, and driving and scoring is Josh Ajayi.
Transition basket, really running the floor well.
Neal got hit hard underneath, no call, and back the other way comes South Alabama, pulling up Stover along with that shot. Bilbao rebound off the floor. The big man running the floor. He wants to take it to the rim. How about that from Jorge Bilbao?
I guess that shows what Scott Cross was talking about. A lot of good things happen when it's in his hand, even if he's bringing it up the floor. So far, we haven't needed a shot clock in this game.
No, I haven't looked at it once. 4 minutes gone. Pass deflected, but it did find Mwepo Kelly, who was fouled, and will have a chance for a three-point play.
And Neal got caught again on the mismatch down the low post, committed a foul.
But Jorge Bilbao running the floor for UTA. Got it going in the Sun Belt here in Mobile.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by eBay. Find new, unique, and everything in between on eBay.
Just over 4 minutes gone here in Mobile, and South Alabama, the home team, out to the three-point lead. Glad you could join us on this Martin Luther King holiday from South Alabama, along with former Kentucky All-American Cal Macy. I'm Mark Neely. Yesterday at the practice for UTA, I was disappointed that Hervey really didn't practice at all. I think we may not see him today. It's great for us and for the nation to see this really talented player.
He's an outstanding player. Preseason player of the year in the Sun Belt Conference. 6'9", 225, can score inside, can go outside, and he's really just a defensive player's nightmare because he can do so many different things out on the basketball court.
That's pretty much what he was doing at the practice yesterday. Was the bike getting the knee worked on, but this is before the game today. Getting that knee stretched out. Did not start, but came in within the first couple of minutes. And this is a guy the NBA scouts come to watch in the Sun Belt Conference.
Well, they really like his versatility with the size he possesses. But again, you know, when you've had an injury, it takes a while, not just the physical part, but also the mental as far as going through maybe the first couple of knocks and getting bumped around, because I think sometimes he's a little more hesitant, not so much on the offensive end as he is going for rebounds or getting into crowds where he may get bumped.
John Mwepo Kelly finishes off the three-point play, so a 4-point edge for the Jags. Now brought Georgi Boyanov into the game.
South Alabama in the little zone switching man defense. They play more man, but they kind of switched it up so it even looks like a zone.
Here's Hervey. Backed into a double team, fights through it, puts it up off the glass, a little too strong, but an offensive rebound by Link Kabadyundi. 3 left side, missed by Nathan Hawkins.
So Texas Arlington with Kabadyundi in the lineup as well as Hervey now go big. When they started, 4 guards were about 6'2" or under.
Ken Williams hits a 3. He's a guy that the UTA head coach Scott Cross told me yesterday, Williams seems to come off the bench and kill us every year, and he's made an early statement here today as Kabadyundi stripped, it's out of bounds, but staying with UTA.
And according to Matt Graves, his coach talks about he's a volume shooter, which means his percentages aren't going to be good, but he's going to get his points. But they did start him some early, but they all of a sudden, like kind of the spark, as Hervey knocks one down.
Well, we see another element to his game, which is shooting the 3 ball. He's hit at about a 31% clip coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough matchup because if you're small, he's going to take you inside. If you're big, he's going to go by you from the outside. If you're slow coming out, he can knock down that 3.
Dedrick Lee knocks down the 3. And both teams not shy to shoot the long ball here today.
Yeah, Lee only 24% behind the 3-point line on the season.
Ray Natili, our lead official, working on the baseline there, is going to call a foul on Shaq Calhoun. That's his first. Herb McGee, a freshman's going to check in, along with Kevin Morris, a couple of true freshmen that Matthew Graves, the South Alabama head coach, is extremely high on. Well, hit 4 or 5. But have not done great in Sun Belt play, though, prior to this. And their 3-point shooting. Hervey.
And he makes it look easy, doesn't he?
That was a 2. Close to being a 3, but he did. He just floated that baby up there.
And because he's so long, he really doesn't need to extend on the jump that much to get the shot off.
Here's McGee driving, scoop, and it won't fall. And a rebound for Hervey, his second. Neal, quick pass. He leads Hawkins to the rim and 1.
And you can tell a smart point guard, Eric Neal that time, like you said, throwing the ball ahead, so it took the defender right where he wanted to go. Didn't have to stop and catch. Catches, knows where the defender is, then just throws it towards the basket so Hawkins could get that momentum going right to the rim and draw the foul.
Hawkins just a 57% foul shooter. Hasn't attempted a lot, 8 of 14. A chance for the 3-point play here.
There's a reason that Neal leads the conference and 6th in the country in assists. He just sees the floor so well.
Averaging close to 7 assists per game. Hawkins does indeed finish off the 3-point play, and the South Alabama lead down to 2.
Arlington now a little bit of their own zone.
Quick pass, Boyanoff. Kabadyundi got bumped, I believe, by Kevin Morris on the rebound. It does go on Morris, his first personal.
Morris turns in at 6'8", 265 freshman. Got his shirt tail tucked out, and I don't think the official's going to tell him to tuck it in.
He is a big man.
He's a big kid.
Ironically, though, he says his favorite food is strawberries. And most guys that are 6'8", 265, that usually isn't on their food radar. DJ Bryant is checked in. His feet a little high, but now they feed Hervey right low post. He skips that pass. Nicely done. Wilson driving, ran into the defender, and it's out of bounds to the Jaguars.
Yeah, just nowhere to go that time. Wilson out of control going that left baseline.
It's his 3rd turnover. Does have an assist. He's making his 2nd consecutive start because of the knee issues with Kevin Hervey. There's an open look for Herb McGee, and the freshman nails that. Just his 9th made 3 of the season.
You talked about Matt Graves really liking the mix of players. He's got some upperclassmen that have some good experience, and he's very high on this young freshman class.
Catch and shoot DJ Bryant from the corner, tipped and kept alive by Kabadyundi. Now he's going to put it up. The big men are not shy to shoot from deep.
No, not at all.
Ken Williams, the drive. Is it a block or a charge? It's a block. That is called on DJ Bryant. But an aggressive take to the rim.
So Bryant taking a lot of courage just to get in front of that player. Saw it coming. You can take a look and see.
Close.
Maybe, yeah, it could have gone either way, really. But he looks like he was outside the arc, but they must have felt he was still moving a little bit.
He was outside the restricted arc for sure, so that was not an issue. Bilbao coming back in. Ken Williams from Episcopal High School in Houston. We call him Ken, but everybody here on campus and the team, they call him Juice. And that's going to go over to UTA. Push off the miss.
Scott Cross using a lot of substitutions here in the first half, just trying to find the right combination. They wants his team to play kind of with the chip on their shoulder. You know, in the past, they've been kind of the underdogs, but now as they progress and gotten better each year, now all of a sudden they've got that target on their back.
Well, there's the top three-point shooter for UTA. Drew Charles hitting 44% on the year, and he drains his first of the day.
The 9th in the career three-pointers made at the University of Texas Arlington.
Morris looking. Williams, but right there in his face was Drew Charles. Shot clock actually slips under 10, but as I say that, a shot off the mark from Nick Stover. Wilson had Hervey, but peels into the lane. Contact and he is fouled. Timeout on the floor. Drew Charles can light up with that three ball. It is 38th of the season, and it's a 2-point deficit right now for the visiting Mavericks. And it's a big Monday doubleheader. It begins at 7 Eastern. It is North Carolina battling Syracuse, and then at 9 Eastern, Kansas, not the #1 team as we perhaps expected. The new poll out, they stayed #2, and Frank Mason and the Jayhawks taking on Iowa State in Ames. Both games also streamed live on the ESPN app. And watch ESPN here in Mobile. South Alabama's hit 5 of 7 three-point attempts.
We're relying on that three-point shot, just good ball movement. First, Josh Ajayi gets one from out to the left side. Next time down, moving the ball inside out. This time it's Nick Stover from deep in the right-hand corner. Go along the baseline, kick it to your teammate Williams in the left corner. He'll knock one down. Dedrick Lee, he'll take his turn. Left-hander only shooting about 24%. And why not finish it up with McGee making one on the left side? So really relying on that three-point shot, 5 out of 7 from the field behind the three.
Yeah, they made a change. They went to the scores table. They have given UTA a 3 instead of a 2 on a shot that was taken in that last sequence by Hervey. Remember that one he took from the right wing that they originally called a 2. It's a 3. Williams. Now another 3 put up. That one missed though by McGee, so now South Alabama 5 of 8 in three-point shooting.
South Alabama back man-to-man now, just try to keep the offense guessing.
Here's the drive underneath, but the travel committed by Bilbao.
Taylor Wilson with a real good drive, dropping it off to Bilbao. Should have gone straight up with the ball instead. Start giving a few fakes, and those feet just shuffled. Easy call.
So we're tied at 20 with 9 minutes gone here in Mobile in the first half.
About a 1-3-1 defense half court for Texas Arlington.
Ajayi a second opportunity, and he'll get the and one.
Josh Ajayi at 6'7", 244 is very physical down in the low post, and he knows as he lets it go, it's not going to go in, so he stays with it, gets it, and puts it right back for 2.
Fouled by Drew Charles, his first personal. Off the back rim and a miss. It stays a 2-point lead for the Jags. Now Faith Pope, number 34 in the game for UT Arlington. Bilbao out front. This is the guy that Coach Cross wanted to have it out high, and Decided to dribble, almost dribbled it off his foot. Shot clock is down to 5. DJ Bryant kicks it to the corner. A Charles 3 is airborne and short. Able to get his own rebound and keep it alive back to DJ Bryant.
Excellent anticipation by Charles. Shooter knows better than anyone where the ball is coming off, if it's going in or rebounding.
3 missed by Wilson, almost rebounded by Pope, but out comes South Alabama. Quick give and go. Here's Stover underneath. That's blocked by Pope. Bryant on the run out, looking around. He doesn't have numbers. He'll use a Euro step to try to get it to the rim, but that was halted by a block from Stover.
At times you just need to kind of stop, get the team in the half-court set, run a little offense, use some shot clock. Make your opponent play some defense, try to wear their legs down.
Stover, a screen from Ajayi, up off the right side, but Stover going after it and in.
Again, we talked about shooter knowing best where the ball's coming off, and a good job anticipating that time by Stover. Everybody stood and watched. He was able to gather it and put it right back.
4-point lead for South Alabama. Driving, offensive foul called on Kalen Wilson. Herb McGee taking the charge.
Another courageous play that time, just to stand and take that charge.
Stover with his defense, that block, and then at the other side, nice reversal at the end here, Kyle.
Yeah, on the other end, he shot the ball, and you could see as soon as he let go of it, he knew it was off, so he went back and got it, moved to the reverse side layup for the easy 2.
Both teams now in the bonus the rest of the way after that last foul, and here's Ajayi giving it up to Calhoun. Right back at Ajayi's 3, around and out.
Ajayi only shooting about 29% from behind the 3-point line. Sometimes you got to know what your strengths are.
Well, he hit his first of the game, and he thought he was still hot.
That should have helped him for the rest of the game.
That's put in by Link Kabadyundi. The transfer started his career at TCU. That's a deep 3. Won't go for Calhoun. Jones, screen set by Link. Another screen from Kabadyundi, but not used by Bryant. Charles defended by Stover. Hand off, Jones will flip it in there. Kabadyundi off the back rim. Pope crashing the boards. Able to tip it. Charles saved it. And back out to Bryant. Another opportunity for UTA.
UTA really doing a good job crashing that offensive board.
Well, Scott Cross, Kyle, was not happy with his team's effort the last 2 games. What do you think so far, the intensity?
I think it's much better than it was the last 2 games. He'll be a little bit more happy. You'd like to see him make a few more shots and a few less turnovers, but at least they're playing hard.
Pope fouled going to the bucket. We come to a timeout. Under 8 minutes to play in the first half for Mobile, and it's a 2-point lead for the Jaguars.
When you think about how courageous you had to be at that time, you know, where the United States was at as far as race, to be able to stand up to what was going on and sacrifice his life. I think that takes a really courageous person, and that's why Martin Luther King is so important, not only in Black history, but in American history.
Well, on this Martin Luther King Day, we honor the legacy of Dr. King, and this is taken from last year when UT Arlington went to Memphis, beat Memphis on that trip, but the day prior to the game, took some history in, went to where Martin Luther King spoke, and sent out this tweet from Coach Scott Cross. That was from their game last year in Memphis.
Always like it when coaches do things with their teams, not just on the basketball court, but also out around the community.
Coach Cross wanting to see some intensity in this game. His team is out-rebounding South Alabama 18-11. They have 6 offensive rebounds, UTA does, but they don't have any second-chance points.
Well, and the problem, too, is they have 6 turnovers that have led to 11 points for South Alabama. So just got to take care of that basketball a little bit better.
Faith Pope's free throws tie this game at 24, and Kevin Hervey rechecks back in for UTA.
You notice, too, when Hervey comes in, Hawkins also comes in. Maybe a little bit more physical player in the front line, so take some of the load of rebounding off of him. because that's one area he just doesn't feel comfortable getting into crowds, going for those rebounds.
Hervey with team-high 6 points, 2 rebounds in his 5 minutes played before re-entering the game here. Stover passed up the deep open look. Ajayi trying to find a little space and is able to create and score.
A step-through move that time. Fake to the left, step back through the right.
Ajayi right now a game-high 9 points. Hervey. Skipped over to Bryant, who drives, skips it back out. Hervey right back over to Hawkins. Hawkins tried to reverse. Ajayi got a piece of it, but there is Hawkins to recover and score.
Stick to itness that time. Got it knocked out of his hands. You know, Hervey's one of the most patient players on this Mavericks team, which is a little unusual. He's their leading scorer. You'd think he'd be the one looking to shoot every time.
Ajayi shooting over Abajundi and scores. So into double figures goes Ajayi.
Ajayi sure doesn't look like a redshirt freshman. I mean, he looks like he's a senior year, if not a fifth-year senior. He's so physical down there.
And he's dropped about 25 pounds since redshirting last year. Hervey driving and scoring. That looked too easy.
Talk about smooth. Man, like he didn't even go anywhere. Next thing you know, he's at the basket laying it in. He's kind of floating along.
Well, arguably the best player in the conference, and a lot of people would say there's no argument about it. Quite possibly the best player in UT Arlington history. You certainly want him on the floor. Again, didn't start today, but came in off the bench. Boynoff fouled underneath the bucket.
Josh Ajayi getting the ball at the high post right at the free throw line. A little spin move and steps back through, uses that right hand for a half hook. And Hervey just floating his way to the rim and laying it in. Not much contest there.
Boynoff off with the first free throw. Georgi Boynoff, who's from Bulgaria. Will be finishing up his playing time and heading home. His wife and 8-month-old son still in Bulgaria. Doesn't get to see him much. A lot of that is done by FaceTime and the internet. And he's going to head home to Bulgaria once he's done with his playing days and his degree here.
Yeah, you know, he's one of their most consistent scorers. Doesn't put up huge numbers, but just consistently game in and game out. He's number 2 in the Sun Belt as far as field goal shooting percentage.
12-footer missed by Jones. Tipped out, and on the run comes Dedrick Lee. Williams a 3. Boynoff crashing the boards, but it's Hervey with the rebound, and here comes the big man up the floor. A little trouble with the dribble, but able to get it to Bryant. He wants it right back. Gets it, turns, shoots, and scores.
When in doubt, shoot it.
10 points.
I understand that he had a little trouble with the dribble, too. I was out in between the shoot-arounds and just kind of dribbling. And there are a few dead spots in this portable floor.
That screen set by Mwepo Kelly.
I wouldn't compare it necessarily to the old Boston Garden when he was playing there. You always had to know exactly what you were doing on the dribble.
Fouled underneath is Don Mwepo Kelly. You hit a few dead spots in the old Garden, did you?
Well, you know, they had 4 corners where you could screw in the floor, and a lot of times there wouldn't be any screws if the most one.
Now, speaking of the NBA, our superstars highlighting the Wednesday doubleheader at 8 Eastern. James Harden and the Rockets host the Bucks. Then Russell Westbrook and the Thunder taking on former teammate Kevin Durant and the Warriors. And coverage tips with NBA Countdown charged by Mountain Dew at 7 Eastern, and also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Of course, all the Celtics guys knew exactly where all the dead spots were, right?
Exactly. They try to lead you to them.
1-point lead for South Alabama. Just over 5 minutes to play in the first half from Mobile on this Martin Luther King Day. Pass from Jones too far and out of reach of Hervey.
Even though they have turned the ball over quite a bit this first half, UT Arlington, one thing I think Scott Cross probably will be happy with, he feels like I think that they're playing more for themselves. He kind of feeling his last 2 games, got caught up in playing a little bit more for themselves as far as for each other. So I think they're doing a much better job trying to help the teammates as opposed to help yourself.
Well, that was the 4th South Alabama turnover on the last sequence for UT Arlington. That was their 7th turnover of the half. Kevin Hervey. Bilbao out front. Down the left side of the lane. Nice pocket pass. Jones can't finish. Gets his own miss. Back up and scoring.
Bilbao, at the size he is, I mean, he handles the ball and passes, sees the floor very well. It's a nice little drop pass for a guy that's 6'9", 245 pounds.
So the Mavs have grabbed a 1-point lead. Williams kisses it in.
Tough shot off the glass. Defense right in his face.
Well, he has led South Alabama in scoring the last 2 years and leading them again, coming in averaging 16 points a game this year.
Yeah, he has a chance to be only the third player in school history to lead the team 3 years in a row. And being the volume shooter, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't do it.
It's all about volume for points. Nathan Hawkins, the miss. Here's the aforementioned Juice Williams, and the jumper knocked in by Don Mwepo Kelly. Give him 7.
And Mwepo Kelly over the average about 8.5 a game. Not really looks to score a whole lot other than maybe rebounding and putbacks.
Hervey, skip. Bryant tipped by Trey Mitchell, who's checked in for South Alabama. That was Boydov who reached around to knock the pass away intended for Hervey, but then being aggressive, picking up the foul is Herb McGee. 3:02 to play in the first half, and it's a 35-32 lead for the Jaguars. Coming up tonight on ESPN, it's a big Monday doubleheader. It starts at 7 Eastern. Syracuse taking on 9th-ranked North Carolina. And then at 9 Eastern, will there be some Hilton Magic tonight? Number 2 Kansas, their leader Frank Mason taking on Iowa State. Both games stream live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. This Martin Luther King holiday. 3-point lead for the Jaguars, leading the Mavericks. That's South Alabama head coach Matthew Graves in his 4th season. Prior to this, his first head coaching job, spent 17 years at Butler as a player and a coach. Was a captain a couple of years. In fact, he had a 42-point game his senior year at Cleveland State and was an assistant. You see Brad Stevens there on the left. He was the head coach. Great guy to mentor under.
And Matt doing a real good job building this program. You know, 4th year, it takes a while to get all your players in place and then get the style and just the understanding. Sometimes it's not even stuff that happens on the court. It's where your players understand what your expectations are of them as a basketball team, off the court and on the court, and a lot of times it's more off the court than on. So at Butler, they like to call it the Butler way, and he's just trying to develop that same type of concept here at South Alabama. Kind of interesting to have a little story with him talking at the shoot-around. His uncle was Rusty Miller out of Swiss City, still is Rusty Miller out of Swiss City, led the Indiana State High School in scoring my senior year. I think he beat me by about 3 points a game.
Oh, you recall that. Well, great to chat with Coach Matt Grace. Very engaging and a terrific leader for this program. The ball tipped, rebounded by Mwepo Kelly. Under 2.5 minutes to play in this first half for Mobile. They feed Georgie Boyanoff. Right there on his hip, though, is Wilson. Tried to split a couple of defenders that rolled out of bounds, but last touched by UTA. Josh Jai's going to come back in. He'll replace Boyanoff.
An important stretch with 2:13 to go here in the first half. Both teams want to take control, get a good shot every possession. Don't let a team go on a little bit of mini run, get some confidence going in the locker room.
We get it in just in time to Williams. A floater, short. Couldn't get his own rebound because the long arms of Kevin Hervey were there. Wilson, scoop, got it, and the foul. Spectacular play and finish.
Acrobatic shot that time. And again, Hervey the one throwing the ball ahead. Just trying to start that fast break. Hervey throws with the left hand on the bounce. You see just sliding across the defender and somehow up and under with the little scoop for 2 off the glass for Keelan Wilson. Trying to get the 3-point play the old-fashioned way.
That foul was on Herb McGee. The freshman just picked up his 3rd personal. Offensive rebound by Drew Charles, keeping this for UTA. Here's Hervey going to work. They double him. Now the double peels away. Lee back out for Bryant. Hervey on the baseline, doubled again. Pass beautifully deflected. Ajayi's the one who got the steal. A wide open look for Williams. Splash, three.
Did a real nice job of getting his feet set, getting under control and in balance before he took that shot.
Off the bench, 8 points for Ken Williams, halfway to his season average of 16 per game. Wilson underneath, fouled. Zabajundi, I'm still trying to figure out how he got the entry pass through there.
He's so long when he gets the ball. I mean, he can almost go put the ball in the backboard without even jumping. That last three-point shot by Williams, you see, just gathering himself and getting a good rotation on the ball, knocks it down.
Free throw good for Kabajundi, who is 7'1", at 275 pounds. He's from Canada, Quebec, Montreal.
And 8 for 20 from behind the free throw line. So unusual to see one go in. Only about 37%.
It's another.
Right on cue, he makes two.
Cuts the deficit for UTA down to 2 with 1:12 to play in the first half. And Link will take a seat. UTA 9-12 from the line in this half. South Alabama 4-7 from the stripe. This is Lee spinning, shooting with that left hand. Put back good and one. Well, we've had a number of putback and ones, and this one comes from Lee, who's now up to 5 points. Took a whack on the side of the face or on his nose there, though.
And it was a real smart play by Lee. He got the rebound knowing the ball wasn't going to go in, but instead of bringing it back to the floor, you take a look at it, gets it up on the rim, doesn't get it, goes right back up before he comes back down. The defense doesn't have time to adjust. This is when Bryant picked up that foul.
And his second, and three-point play completed by Lee, who's just a 47% foul shooter coming in.
South Alabama last in the conference in free throw shooting percentage. With their record 2-2, they made a few more free throws. They could easily be 4-0.
Charles misses with a three. Bilbao there to clean it up.
Strong rebound down low by Bilbao. Almost squeezed the air out of that ball. That's what he got it with two hands.
Eric Neal, by the way, back in the game for UTA. His minutes limited. He picked up a couple of quick fouls only in his 7th minute of the half. That's off the back rim. Somehow saved by Boyanoff. And he now has the three opportunity, but that's off the back rim. UTA can hold it for the final shot.
And with the clock below 25, I'd like to see maybe USA just take it out, use the clock, and know going into halftime that they're going to be up a minimum of 3. Instead, three-pointer here could tie it to break and give Arlington a little bit of momentum.
That's Neal. Tried to tie it. Nope. And it is a 3-point lead for South Alabama over UTA, 43-40 here at the break. Well, Hervey did not start, but did have a dozen points on 4-6 shooting with 4 boards in that first half.
Well, if they can keep him healthy in the second half, they have a much better chance, obviously, to win.
Now coming up on the Land Rover halftime report with Brendan Fitzgerald and Dino Gaudio. Analysis of that Georgia Tech win at NC State. They'll preview the big Monday matchup for tonight, Syracuse, North Carolina, and a look ahead to Super Tuesday tomorrow. Here in Mobile, halftime. Home team, South Alabama, leading UT Arlington 43-40. Big Monday presented by eBay from Mobile, Alabama. The Mitchell Center ready for half number 2. And South Alabama will have possession to start the second half in the 3-point lead as Shaq Calhoun inbounds.
Important 3 or 4 minute stretch here for both teams, trying to set the tone for this second half.
Kevin Hervey is in to start the second half for UTA. Going for the steal there. Bilbao helping out defensively, but apparently a little bump.
Hervey came in from behind, reached in there, got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. A little more patience that time coming out of the halftime locker room for South Alabama.
Second foul, by the way, on Hervey as Don Wapo Kelly off with the first free throw. Both these teams 2-2 in conference play. 2 of the 6 teams right now in the Sun Belt all at 2-2. Georgia Southern right now leading the conference, alone unbeaten at 4-0.
And that's the thing, the importance I think really puts on this game. You don't want to fall 3 games behind in the loss column, even though it's only the 5th game into the conference season.
Here is Hervey giving it up. A wide open 3. Jones, short though. On the run, here comes Nick Stover feeding Calhoun, who had some foul trouble in the first half. No points and a couple of fouls. Only played 9 minutes.
Jones had a nice pose on that jump shot, but it was just short. I think he thought it was going in the way he held the form.
With the left hand, missed by Stover. Now with it comes Jalen Jones. Stover bumped into him. Neal uses the screen. Fires to the corner at Charles 3. Offensive rebound, Jalen Jones, and 1 as he's fouled from the backside by Dedrick Lee.
And Jones getting that offensive board. Really set up, though, by the penetration by Neal. The kick to Charles. Didn't get the shot to go down, but Jones making the effort, getting on the inside of the block out defensive player, able to get that rebound and put it back.
And he swishes it and finishes off the 3-point play for Jalen Jones, a guy that head coach Scott Cross told me, yeah, we have Kevin Hervey, but maybe our best all-around player when it includes defense and everything else may be Jalen Jones. Here is Hervey, who's played pretty well defensively in this game. Going for the block there, a miss. That's a 3. Not there for Calhoun, but the stuff on Wepo Kelly.
And Jones lost the block out that time. Wepo Kelly able to go right down the lane and finish. Got to put a body on somebody.
Wepo Kelly now into double figures with 10 points. Jai and Hervey, some help from Wepo Kelly defensively. That was a bullet pass from Neal underneath. Out of bounds, staying with UTA.
So just a sharp pass, but I think, well, here you see the replay of that last jump shot. It gave him Wepo Kelly a chance just to go straight down the lane. You got to put a body on him, stop that penetration to the basket.
Hervey at 3, just a little bit long. Bilbao the offensive rebound, but stripped and fouled though underneath by Stover.
You look at Bilbao, and he's one of those players, if you're in a practice session, you just try to stay away from him, because anytime you get near him, he's going to give you an elbow or a bump or something. You're going to get bruised just playing around him, so you try to stay as far away from him as you can. I mean, look how broad those shoulders are, how big he is. Just loves that contact. And if you're his teammate, you love having a player like that on your team. Not afraid to set some bone-crushing picks to get you open.
Jorge Bilbao from the city of Bilbao, Spain, which is near the coast up in northern Spain. And he spins home the second and splits the pair. 2-point lead for the Jags. Jai traveled. 5th turnover committed by the Jags. Head coach Matthew Graves in his 4th season. His team coming off an OT win over Texas State here on Saturday, won 72-67. Somebody forgot about Bilbao.
And a good look that time by Neal. Reversing the ball. And it knew from the time he started on the dribble where everyone was on the floor, knew exactly what he wanted to do and where he wanted to get to before he made that pass.
Second assist for Neal. Timeout is called by South Alabama here with just over 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the second half, and the game now tied up. Our 6th tie. We've got a back-and-forth game in Mobile. Bilbao finishing. It's 46-all. Tied up at 46 with 17:27 remaining second half from the Mitchell Center in Mobile. Busy day in the Sun Belt. 4 games today. We're the first to get it going. And look at the Sun Belt standings. Georgia Southern, the lone unbeaten at 4-0. UT Arlington had won their first 2, but they've dropped their last 2. And South Alabama also at 2-2 in conference play. So 6 teams right now in the Sun Belt at 2-2.
Yeah, just a logjam there at 2-2, and Arkansas Little Rock, defending champion, at 2-3. So they're on the bottom side, normally where everyone thought they would be higher in conference play. But UT Arlington was the preseason pick to win the regular season.
Stolen by Neal. Yeah, Little Rock last year in the NCAA tournament beat the 5 seed Purdue in a couple of overtimes. Short from Jones. Hervey back out for Neal. Bilbao crashing in, tried to reverse. That may be Ajayi who picked up the foul, and if so, that'll be his second.
He's not that explosive off the floor, but he's so strong. A lot of times he moves more vertically than he does, or horizontally than he does vertically. But because of those broad shoulders and the strength factor, he's able to get it up there and draw those fouls.
It's a UT Arlington team that played a close game at Arkansas. In fact, led at the half, but lost 71-67, but then won at Texas 72-61, beating Texas for the first time in school history on their 13th try, won 72-61 as Irby had a double-double at the Irwin Center in Austin. Then beat 12th ranked St. Mary's at St. Mary's 65-51. That's the game that the head coach Scott Cross really looks to. That fall is from Waco Kelly.
That's a quality win going to St. Mary's and winning. I think actually their RPI got up to maybe as high as 17 before this lost weekend where they lost those 2 games in conference play.
That was St. Mary's only loss on the year until they just lost to Gonzaga the other night. Gonzaga, the lone unbeaten now on the men's side. Reset up by Neal. Shot clock's down to 6. That's turned over. He threw it right to Ajayi. It lost again, turned back over, and now they have numbers 3-on-1 and all alone. One dribble and stuffed by Jalen Jones.
Good look by Neal. That bounce pass. The defender thought maybe he was going to try to lob it up, getting ready to jump, and then the reaction couldn't get back down to the ball by his feet. The other thing Neal did, when he turned it over, he went for the steal at half court knowing he had a teammate back and was able to deflect it and allowed Charles to come up with that steal on the other end.
Offensive foul. Charge taken by the aforementioned Eric Neal. Timeout. Eric Neal doing what we expected at the top of the telecast.
But transition game, just leading the break for the Mavericks. So that time looked like it went through the leg. Mavs lead by 1.
UT Arlington, a school of over 50,000 in Arlington, Texas. Last season won 24 games, beat Ohio State and Memphis. They returned all 5 starters from last year. So as a result of the 12 teams in the Sun Belt, they were the #1 pick in the preseason. They got off to a nice start, beat Texas, we told you, won at number 12 St. Mary's, their first ever win against an AP top 25. St. Mary's was ranked 12th. And right now, 2-2 in the Sun Belt, would like to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2008. That year they played a 1 seed Memphis. Memphis, of course, went to the championship game against Kansas and lost in overtime that year. And Eric Neal coming in 6th in the NCAA, nearly 7 assists per game. Right now, 3 assists, I should say, on the afternoon.
Well, one of the hardest things in the game of basketball is when you've had some success, like for instance our 11-game winning streak, you're on campus, everybody's telling you how great you are, and you kind of forget that what got you there, and that's by working hard every day in practice. And so UT Arlington trying to adjust from being an underdog in most of the games, now a team that everybody's kind of shooting for. They have that target on their back.
That's a 3 in and out, missed by Ken Williams. Hervey. Bilbao down low. That's tough to stop when he can get that entry pass that deep.
Yeah, he's going to tell you exactly what he's going to do, but he's still going to do it and be successful. I mean, just a strong move to the basket.
And 11 points for Bilbao with 8 boards, nearly a double-double. A lot of time to accomplish that. Long 3, Boyan. Oh, wow. Nothing but net.
Only taking 32 threes on the season, but shooting a good percentage from behind there. Just right at 50% coming into the game.
And we are tied up again at 51 now. The drive and the bucket for Wilson. He used a double screen up top from the big guys.
Well, from looking at the stat sheet, how Arlington has been shooting the basketball, you can see Scott Cross has talked to his team during a timeout of going strong to the basket. And you see just gathering, going strong, being able to finish with a little bit of contact. Nice move by Kalen Wilson.
Murphy goes out, by the way, and
you make 1 or 2 threes, and all of a sudden you want to fall in love with it, but you got to get that balance inside out.
UT Arlington here in the second half, 0 for 5 in three-point shooting, 5 of 5 2-point shooting. They're going to count that. And foul.
Yeah, I think they're going to say Wilson got him when he was still on the floor before he went up to shoot.
So South Alabama will take it out. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. One of our Big Monday presented by eBay. 3 Lee off the left side. High rebound, Nathan Hawkins. Wilson lob too high for Faith Pope. I called it a lob. It was more of a fastball lob.
Should have had probably a little bit more air under it to give Pope a chance to get his feet and go up to jump, but there's too much of a line drive. Not really sure that's the pass you want to make, too. You got a 3-point lead, kind of rolling a little bit. You want to change that momentum.
10th turnover for UTA, 5 of those committed by Wilson. Wilson going for the steal there, didn't get it. Calhoun. Having a tough start offensively today. Saved by Boyanoff, but Neal got it. Crashed into Lee. It was loose, and then Bilbao just takes it right away from Wapo Kelly, and at the other end, laid in by Wilson. Well, Coach Cross is going to love that effort.
Now, both coaches got to love the effort. I mean, players diving, going for the loose ball.
UTA has opened up a 5-point lead, their largest of the game. Another turnover. Hawkins to Neal, but there's a dive by Lee. Bodies everywhere, but trying to lead Calhoun, and Bilbao trailing the play, stole it, and Hawkins says, hey, whoa, let's slow this down.
Good thought there. Just put the hand out, get the ball back to your point guard, set up the half-court offense.
The reach by Calhoun, who picked up a couple of early fouls in the first half, which limited his minutes, and he gets another one here. And shaken up, Wapo Kelly. Both teams have turned it over 11 times in this up-and-down affair.
A great hustle play. They tried to get the charge that time. Lee didn't get the call, went the other way. Bilbao comes up with the steal, throws it ahead, able to finish on the drive. Can't fault the effort.
Yeah, both teams have got the memo today about the intensity level being kicked up. Wilson fouled going to the rim that time.
And I don't know if he got fouled on that drive, but just the fact that there was an aggressive move towards the basket, majority of the time you're going to get the nod. Let's take a look as Bilbao throws it out. He drives, tries to split the defender. A lot of ball there, but because he was aggressive, I think that's why he got the whistle.
Stover thinking he had the clean steal. Instead, he gets his second foul. That's 17 fouls now against South Alabama here in the half. Only 3 team fouls against UTA. Into a 6-point edge for the Mavs. See what they're doing first half to second half. Really, the 3-ball hasn't been their friend in general today, but definitely not in the second half. That was almost tipped on the rim, but then they're going to call, I believe, Bilbao for the foul on the rebound attempt.
Well, that's just a good adjustment, I think, at halftime. The coaching staff recognizing they're not shooting from behind the 3 very well, so they want to try to attack the rim more. Now, if you go to the basket and all of a sudden everybody collapses and you kick it out and get a 3, that's a good shot to take. But just coming down and shooting a 3 on the first pass is not very high percentage.
UTA picking up the pressure, and it pays off, as that's the 12th turnover from South Alabama.
Kind of caught him a little bit by surprise, that half-court trapping defense. No one really in position to attack it.
Neal decides to launch and hits the deep 3.
And a good point guard will recognize if he's been penetrating a lot and the defense really collapsing, or if they back off, he's going to get some wide open shots. Got to be able to knock them down as he did that time. Good read.
First made field goal of the game. It's a 13-3 run for UTA. And another turnover committed by the Jags. They've been bitten by the bug. Now 13 in the game.
Just by going to that half-court trapping defense, kind of confused him a little bit, so Matthew Gray is going to take a timeout, talk to his team.
So a timeout with 12:28 to play in the second half for Mobile, and UTA has opened up a 9-point edge. Welcome back to Big Monday, presented by eBay on this Martin Luther King holiday from the Mitchell Center in Mobile, Alabama. It's the Sun Belt Conference. Just under 12.5 minutes to go. UTA has opened up a 60-51 lead. They've outscored South Alabama 20-8 in the second half. Here's the odds part of that. None of the 20 points has come from Kevin Hervey. Bilbao has been a part of that production and continues to do so.
And the way they've done it by shooting about 60% from the field this second half. Taking high percentage shots, going strong to the basket every time down.
UTA now 8 of 13 from the field here in half number 2 after shooting 42% from the floor in the first half. Point off. One and done thanks to the Bilbao rebound. He's nearing on that double-double. One rebound away from that double-double for Bilbao.
Now, one thing about Arlington, you know, they had a chance last year to play without Hervey in the lineup because he did injure that knee during the season.
And Bilbao again and one.
I'm really impressed by his game. Just he's so strong, so much emotion, so much energy when he's out there on the floor. A little spin move, throwing up, using that left hand that he's dominant with. Going right down the lane, looking to go opposite, not there. Somehow managed to get it up on the glass as he's falling to the deck. Take a few slaps along the way.
He finishes off the three-point play. You mentioned about Hervey's injury, which happened about a year ago, January of 16. Missed the last 19 games. That's a significant chunk of the season.
Yeah, so they're familiar with playing without him. Obviously, they'd like to play with him. But if he does have to go to the bench, then they're okay. They're comfortable with that.
They got numbers on the run and the stuff by Kalen Wilson. And it's a 15-0 run that ends on that shot from Boyanoff.
Home court bounce that time, straight up and straight in.
It was a 16-0 run ended on that Boyanoff field goal. Bilbao the pass. Pope out of bounds to the Jaguars.
Little fast break action. Neal with a little kick pass, no look to his teammate Wilson, going up with a one-handed slam. Leaves outside the lane, floats right to the rim.
Fourth assist, by the way, for Eric Neal. Again, comes in at 6.8 assists per game, 6th in the nation. Boyanoff off the left side. Rolled out of bounds, and Boyanoff can't save it. It is UTA ball.
Well, South Alabama, when they do get the ball in their possession, they need to do a little bit better job being a little more patient, getting a higher percentage shot to be able to cut back into this lead. Still taking a lot of quick possessions, maybe not the highest percentage of shots. We'll come with some 1-2-2, three-quarter court pressure now, try to force a turnover.
So Kevin Hervey's back in now for UTA. Hasn't, at least point-wise, contributed to this suddenly 13-point lead. The UTA turns it over. The Mavs have hit their last 7 field goal attempts, but will not get an opportunity on that possession.
And one of the negatives, I guess, about being 5'10", as Eric Neal is trying to throw over defenders sometimes. The ball will sail as it did that time. Where with Hervey back in the backcourt there, he could throw the ball over the top, never really have to change the angle of the pass.
A three. That's hit by Ken Williams. He has 11.
Williams is the type player, wants to take that shot, the big play. Looking to make things happen.
Not only the 6'9" Hervey back in, but Kabayundi's 7'1" back in, so UTA going with that bigger lineup. Catch and shoot three from Charles.
Tough shot, catching it in the air, coming down and then springing right back up to shoot it. Excellent control.
That's his second three of the game. Williams. And we had Link Kabayundi, the 7'1" center, right underneath the bucket.
You know, Kabayundi can stand there and put his hands on the backboard defensively. Here you see the pass by Hervey across court. See how he just kind of pogo sticks right back up and gets a good rotation. It's tough to do.
And there's Charles playing defense, denying the inbounds pass intended for Calhoun. It goes on Neal. Number 3 on Eric Neal, who had 2 personals in the first half that limited his time. Like Ajayi wanted to go straight up. Instead, he says, I'll take it to the rim and jam it.
He went straight up once he got underneath the rim, that's for sure. Man, was that a strong dunk.
Well, this game was tied at 46, and since then a big run by UTA. Even despite that last stuff by Ajayi, the lead is 11 with 9 minutes to go.
The thing UTA can't do now is get complacent and just kind of try to play the clock. Still plenty of time, over 8 minutes to go in the game, so you got to go ahead and be aggressive offensively, play solid defensively, keep scoring points.
Neal tried to find Hervey underneath. Ajayi punched it to the sideline where it was saved by Williams, but then he threw it out of bounds trying to save it.
How about a strong move to the basket? Ajayi going straight up and throwing it straight down.
They leave him all alone, so Hervey says, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, you just can't leave that good of a player that wide open. He set his feet, he checked the wind, he lined up the seams on the ball and still was wide open.
Well, Hervey now making an impact as far as points here in the second half. With that last field goal, his first of the second stanza. Williams got up in the air and shoots. Bilbao tips it to himself. He wants to get it to Neal, so he says, all right, you're going to deny that pass? I'll take it up.
You know the thing Bilbao does so well is a lot of big men, when they handle the ball like he does, they'll turn it over. They get in such a big hurry. He's very patient. He knows what he can do and doesn't try to do too much.
With that rebound, it's a double-double now for Bilbao. At Charles 3, right as there was a whistle underneath as Bilbao got pushed to the court.
And that's the other thing, that he frustrates you because he is such a physical player.
Well, Kevin, Hervey has made his presence felt here in the second half.
Plenty of time to set up and knock it down. Arlington trying to stretch it away from South Alabama.
Well, Big Monday presented by eBay continues tonight with a doubleheader starting at 7 Eastern. 9th-ranked North Carolina hosts Syracuse, and then at 9 Eastern, 2nd-ranked Kansas in Ames to take on Iowa State. Both games stream live on the ESPN app, as well as watch ESPN. Well, will we see some Hilton magic tonight? Iowa State's had recent success against KU up in Ames.
You know, I don't know, though. If I'm Kansas, I'm playing a little chip on my shoulder and jumped over to that #1 spot.
Yeah, Villanova raced back up to the 1 spot today with the AP poll that came out, but they're looking for their 3rd straight win against KU at Hilton Coliseum tonight, 9 Eastern on ESPN. Well, we've had 8 ties in this game. The last was at 51, and from that point, Kyle, UTA, big run, and they've opened up a 73-59 lead with under 8 minutes to go. There's that AP poll, so Villanova shoots back up to the top spot. Bilbao at the line. In and out. But Wapo Kelly got the rebound and then fell out of bounds.
Just couldn't quite control it with the one hand. You got to go up and try to grab those rebounds with both hands. Kind of got caught up in the block out with one arm.
Bilbao, by the way, his second double-double of the season, 10th of his career. He sets the screen. Bilbao, lucky he didn't get away with the offensive foul there, but lets it go out of bounds, staying with UTA.
He's kind of a point center. You know, the old Don Nelson days with the Milwaukee Bucks. He played a point forward, point center. I mean, he handles the ball so well, sees the floor, doesn't try to do too much.
Tying his shoe. Well, watching the practice yesterday for UT Arlington, Bilbao did not show that in the practice. I saw him in person for the first time. He was much more reserved, but man, he's come to play today.
He's a gamer. He's a gamer. Saving it for the game.
Hervey on a back down count, or Ajayi shoots over him. Rebound for Morris, freshman. Still plenty of time for a rally for South Alabama. They've got to become more productive here offensively.
Yeah, and that's the key. They just can't make a turnover just like that where it goes off of his knee on the dribble. Every possession, you don't have to score every possession, but you want to work the ball and get the best shot available. If you do that, your percentages will increase and you'll start making some of those shots, be able to make a run. But now on the other end, you got to get some defensive stops as well. This Arlington team, a very experienced squad. They've been in these situations before.
Neal fires a pass. Hervey underneath from in close.
And just like that play, a good look down low to Hervey. Didn't take the first shot because he wasn't quite on balance. Being an experienced player, he gathered himself, absorbed the contact, and able to finish.
Hervey has 17. Came off the bench today. Did not start. And that knee has some fluid on it. It's been an issue. The preseason Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. Three put up and badly needed by South Alabama. Sunk by Shaq Calhoun.
And we haven't called his name much at all this afternoon. Coming off that big performance last time.
And he can't prevent the driving lay-in by Jalen Jones.
Calhoun with 26. Just hasn't done much at all this afternoon.
He had time to field that pass on the short hop and line it up, and Stover sinks it. A 12-point lead for UTA with under 6 minutes to go. Well, I think Scott Cross, the head coach of UTA, his message has gotten through to his team today.
Yeah, especially this second half. But they're playing much more with the effort and intensity that he likes to see.
Would not stay down for Hervey, and now a push by Neal before the shot by Ken Williams.
If that's on Neal, that's going to be his fourth foul.
Indeed it is. 16th foul of the half against UTA.
And the one thing we've seen the last time when South Alabama went to that 1-3-1 zone, Arlington shot up a three-pointer. And they've made that big stretch, that big run by going to the rim, not taking outside shots.
Calhoun trying to make it back-to-back threes, but cannot. And there is Bilbao skying for the rebound. 11 boards for Bilbao, part of this double-double effort.
So now the Jaguars back in man-to-man. You want to open up the floor, try to penetrate, read, kick to an open man, just like that.
Point off, reaches in to get the foul on Pope.
I really like the way Eric Neal plays that point guard spot. He just has a feel where everyone is on the floor, both his offensive teammates as well as the defenders, all five guys playing defense.
Puts Pope at the line.
Excuse me, it's almost sometimes becoming a lost art, point guards trying to create opportunities for teammates. But by getting the right angle, getting in the certain gap, you can pull defenders and get people open. He does such a real good job with that.
Neal will come out. Hope's free throw makes this a 79-65 game with under 5 minutes remaining now here in Mobile. Stover. Tip deflected, fighting underneath. It will remain with South Alabama.
That's quite the matchup down low with Kevin Moore, 6'8", 265, and Bilbao, 6'9", 245.
Yeah, there's some pounds being thrown around down there. And one's a freshman. The other's a senior. That's the freshman. As you saw, number 20, Kevin Morris, making sure all the perspiration is wiped up. Calhoun leaning in on Bilbao, and one.
Calhoun trying to assert himself here late in the contest. Bilbao made a mistake. He was in good position to draw that charge, but he made a mistake as we watch the replay here. He just reaches in with that right hand and tries to steal the ball, and that's what initiated. Didn't get set then to take that charge.
Calhoun finishes off that three-point play, and it's an 11-point game. Still plenty of time for South Alabama, especially if UTA is going to turn it over.
Yeah, last thing you want to do, take the ball down, use some clock.
17th UTA turnover. They average about 13 a game, so they're well over that. And Herbie's going to come in with Faith Pope.
Again, Herbie, because of his length and size, can look right over the top of the defense against that trap.
Well, if you're a UTA fan, Cal, you have to be happy with Herbie. He hasn't seemed, at least to us, to be affected at all by that knee today. Deflection, but somehow Morris got it back and scores it.
Yeah, we weren't sure Herbie was going to play at all coming into today, but during the shoot-around right before game time, they kind of checked it out, and they said it felt okay.
Well, he didn't practice yesterday, and I thought the chances of him playing were very remote, but that all changed today. Timeout. 4 minutes to go. It's down to single digits here in Mobile.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by eBay. Find new, unique, and everything in between on eBay.
Dr. King was a visionary because, you know, in his time, he saw a different America. He saw a different world. He wanted everybody to believe in one world and one nation. I believe that he accomplished that.
On this Martin Luther King holiday, we remember the legacy of Dr. King. We're in Mobile, Alabama. 4 minutes to go. Sun Belt Conference, UTA, South Alabama. UTA was up by as many as 16. That's been cut to 9, but South Alabama needs a stop as the clock is not on their side right now.
Just got a little careless with the basketball, took some ill-advised shots.
Shot clock was winding down to 2, and Neal decided to throw it up, and it didn't make it to the rim. Quick pass. From the corner. Too strong from Calhoun. Boyanoff, back up. Third try, blocked from Hawkins from behind, but they keep possession. Morris slow getting up. He's hurt, but they play on. And he plays on. Looked like he was going to set a screen. Now spins back in the lane. They feed Morris. Trying to shoot around Bilbao. But Bilbao collects the rebound. Knocked free again. Boyanoff scores.
One of the first mistake Bilbao has made, handling the basketball. Keeping that constant pressure on, though, by the Jaguars.
16-point lead down to 7 for UTA. Knocked away with Bilbao fouled.
You see that last bucket, Bilbao just in trouble being double teamed and kind of lets it get knocked out of his hands. Boyanoff right there to put it back in. Good hustle by the Jaguars.
Boyanoff committed the foul at the other end. Bilbao at the line. 4 of 8 from the stripe today.
On the year, a 78% free throw shooter, one of the better free throw shooters on this Maverick team. But Mavericks got a little bit complacent. They had that big lead like you talked about and just started watching the clock instead of continuing to play and stay aggressive. Patient but aggressive.
Looking to set a career high for points. He tied it, but couldn't set it, missing the second free throw. And Calhoun colliding with Nathan Hawkins.
Calhoun definitely trying to pick it up. Had 0 points about halfway through this second half and now has 6 and going to the line. Got to get a few more.
Speaking of free throws, UTA has shot 26. They've hit 18. South Alabama has only attempted 11 and have hit 7. So this will be their 12th free throw attempt of the game. And the front end is hit by Shaq Calhoun.
I think one of the reasons they've not got a lot of free throws is because they're shooting the ball so quickly in their offense most of the game. I mean, it's been 1 or 2 passes and the ball's going up from the perimeter. You want to try to get that balance of attacking the rim, and then if you get stopped, then kick it back out for an open jump shot.
Yeah, I think your point's spot on. When you say that, a lot of times you think it's maybe an officiating issue. They've done a nice job today.
No, they have. Very good. When you don't notice them on the floor is when they've done a real good job, and really we haven't even thought about any of the calls made.
Ray Natili and his crew of Hal Luss, Brett Smith. Nice work from the officials. The time becoming an issue here for the home team, South Alabama. 2:15 to go. Shot clock's at 2, and there's Hervey. Just as the shot clock was winding down, he has 19 points.
I wasn't sure that pass from Jones was going to make it through, but somehow got there and he was able to finish.
Calhoun doubled. 3 is Jai not there, but a Stover rebound keeps it for the Jaguars. With the right hand, that's Josh Ajayi.
Now that's his game. Doesn't need to be shooting those threes. Just go strong in the rim, maybe get a three-point play the other way.
Well, it's a 2-possession game. A 16-point lead for UTA, down to 6, under a minute and a half to play. Bounce pass in, Bilbao right out to Neal.
The middle of that zone is going to be open. You want to flash in there, look high-low.
Hervey, short, well short. And a rebound by Lee. Still time for the Jaguars, down 6. Calhoun floats it up. A Bilbao rebound. That would have been a big bucket for South Alabama.
They got a foul.
And Calhoun does so. An 11-3 run here for South Alabama. It's cut a 16-point deficit down to 6, but now they'll put UTA at the line. 4th foul on Calhoun.
Look at this UT Arlington team. They've put a lot of miles on this pre-conference season, now into conference play. Over 13,000 miles playing their non-conference season. So if you look like they're a little fatigued and bending over, grabbing their shorts, that may be a good reason. It's that time of year now where you start tapering those practices a little bit, just gearing towards more of the games, playing 2 games each week.
Neal misses both. It stays a 6-point game, but under a minute, 50 seconds.
Go to the rim, read the defense. If they collapse, kick it out for the 3.
Ajayi trying to back down Bilbao, thinks better of it, and a long 3, Calhoun. Hervey with the board. And they'll foul him and stop it with 35 seconds to go.
So you don't really need to rely on the threes with that much time still on the clock, only down 6. Go ahead and try to score 2, get all the way to the rim if you can, or if they collapse, then you get a wide open 3. And percentages, the research shows you shoot a better percentage when the ball is coming from in the lane back out to the 3-point line as it is just passing around the perimeter.
80% from the line. Hervey, who's made and attempted more free throws on the season than any other Maverick, but short with the first. And maybe that intensity level's kind of catching up. It's a good thing, but they do seem a little tired here.
They didn't have much legs in that one to get up over the rim.
In and out.
Oh, 4 in a row missed free throws plus now a foul. Walk to the other end, shoot some free throws. One of the last things you want to do.
Clock doesn't move, stays at 34.5 seconds left. It's going to be Nick Stover, I believe, going to the line. Fourth foul on Bilbao.
You got to be smart, too, in that situation, knowing you don't want to foul. If the ball kicks long and you can get that offensive rebound and miss free throw, fine, but don't even give the officials a chance to see a foul committed.
Officials, that's Ray Natili, the lead official. I think he was checking to make sure they had the right person at the line, and they did not. It was going to be Stover, but now they say it's Boyanoff.
Now, Boyanoff only 58.5 on the year. Stover was 84.6.
So South Alabama wanted Stover at the line if they could help it. And they're going to take another look at this. So the officials, again, taking a peek at the monitor to see who should be at the free throw line for South Alabama. Why don't we take a look ourselves, and you can tell me, Cal, who you think should be at the line.
It looked like it may have been more Hawkins that committed the foul on the left side than it was Bilbao on the right side.
But they did charge it to Bilbao.
Were they looking at a clock issue, maybe?
Well, now they're going to put Ajayi.
So they were trying to figure out which one was the player that was fouled. Gotcha.
Well, third time's a charm, and I got a feeling that Ajayi will shoot a free throw here.
Ajayi about 64% from the free throw line. Like I said, South Alabama last in the Sun Belt in free throw shooting percentage, right around 66% as a team. Got to try to knock these down, set your press. If you can't get that steal in the press, then commit the foul, go to the other end.
And he hits the front end. Big free throw there for South Alabama and head coach Matthew Graves. 34.5 seconds left.
Yeah, still a lot of time. I mean, take your time, try to get a good trap and come up with a steal. And if they break it, then you may have to go ahead and commit the foul.
Herbie, the rebound, 1 of 2, 5-point game. Herbie fouled from behind, goes tumbling. Always a scary proposition when you're dealing with that left knee issue. I'm sure UTA fans holding their breath, but he gets up, starts to get up, then very gingerly making sure all the parts are in place.
Just an accidental play, though. Calhoun didn't try to trip him, just kind of the feet got tangled up as he was reaching in, trying to back tip. Calhoun picks up his 5th foul.
So he fouls out of a game for the 4th time this year. Irby 2 of 4 from the line today, but came in at 80% on the year. Calhoun fouls out. 8 points, and that flurry came in the second half.
Yeah, when they needed it most there in the second half, when they were making their run, they really provided some leadership. The junior out of Rome, Georgia.
20 points for Kevin Hervey.
He's kind of talking to himself as he makes that second free throw. Why wouldn't I do that the last time I was up there?
Lee trying to hurry it up. Quick 3, Stover. Knows it's off. It gets his own miss and stuffs it. Now they foul Hervey again.
He had his elbow up above the rim on that follow.
Well, when he let that 3 go, he knew it was off the mark. And, I mean, he hustled. You don't see this a whole lot when a guy misses a 3 to get a stuff on their own miss.
No, I mean, the ball wasn't even down. Look how high he got on that. Just took off as soon as he let go of it. Great follow. Look at that. Everybody else just kind of standing around and watching. He stuffed it back in.
It's almost like he's at a dunk contest, and that's his trick shot. Make that a Sports Center top 10 nominee. Hervey again from the line. Under 21 seconds to play from Mobile. He hits both.
Scott Cross making some substitutions, get the defense set. They'll let South Alabama push it up real quickly, get their defense full court pressure set. Now you want to just try to keep the ball in front of you. Don't commit any fouls. Don't let them get all the way to the layup.
3-possession game, up by 7. Boyanoff, they'll let him lay it in. Neal fouled, 13.9 to go. Coming up after Kansas, Iowa State tonight. Don't miss Sports Center at night with John Anderson and Nicole Briscoe. They'll have highlights and breakdowns from the college and NBA hardwood, as well as the NHL. Australian Open getting going in Melbourne. NFL playoff news and everything else. It also streams live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. One more here from Neal.
After missing those 4 in a row, now Arlington do a much better job of knocking those free throws down.
And that should go a long way in icing this game for UT Arlington. They were down by 7 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. That was South Alabama's largest lead. This game was tied at 51, and then from there, UTA took off. And they fouled to prevent the breakaway lay-in for Nathan Hawkins with just 5 seconds to go.
But what they didn't panic. They showed their experience as a team, and even when they got behind, knew they could play better and just continued to battle and dig in defensively, try to get some stops until they kind of got their offense rolling. And one of the keys I thought was when they went to that half-court trap, forced some turnovers there in the second half. The guy went on that little run, 16-0 run to change the game around.
Dedrick Lee fouls out for his second time this year. UT Arlington will see their 2-game winning streak, 2-game losing streak, that is, end and improve to 13-5 and 3-2 in conference. You know, they had won 11 in a row prior to the 2-game skid. South Alabama will drop to 9-9 overall and 2-3 in conference. And will we get a shot off in time? He does. It's good. It will count. 89-83 will be the final. UT Arlington wins it on the road. And what was an entertaining game to watch, Kyle?
A good Sun Belt Conference game. Back and forth. Both teams battling, playing with a lot of energy.
Herbie came off the bench and was very effective.
Yeah, good to see him out there in the court. Weren't sure he was going to be able to play, but showing that leadership, making some big shots, and just being on the court, his presence made a big difference.
Well, for Kyle Macy and our entire crew, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks so much for sharing this one with us. UT Arlington wins it 99-83, and so long from Mobile.